The history of computers dates back to 1800s when many scientists began to develop various computing machines. So in this video, we're going to be starting the evolution of computer from the 1930s. The 1930s marked the beginning of calculating machines, which were considered the first programmable computer. The modern computer was developed in 1930s when Konrad Zuse created the first programmable computer, the Z1, which could do additions and subtractions very quickly. In 1941, he created the Z3, known as the world's oldest digital computer. Unfortunately, the computer was destroyed during World War II, but later in 1950, Konrad Zuse launched the Z4, the world's first commercial digital computer. In 1994, the Harvard Mark I or Colossus was inaugurated, a huge computer that occupies an entire room. It was used during the World War II to break the complex Lorentz ciphers used by the Nazis. Colossus offered immediate solution, and it's believed that its use significantly shortened the duration of the war. In 1946, another computer that stood out at the time was ENIAC, created by John Moseley and Presper Eckert. ENIAC occupied a room of 1,500 square meters, weighing 30 tons, and had 6,000 switches and 18,000 vacuum tubes. A few years later, the two built UNIVAC, the first commercial computer for business and government applications. In 1953, Ray Hopper developed the first computer language called COBOL. At the same time, IBM created its first computer called the IBM 701. In 1965, Programmer 101 was the first desktop computer sold to the general public. It cost $32,000, was the size of a typewriter, had 37 keys, and a built-in printer. The year 1970 is marked by Intel, which launches the Intel 1103, the first dynamic access memory chip, DRAM. A year later, IBM invented the floppy disk, which allows data to be shared between computers. Now, who hasn't heard of Altair 8800? It was launched in 1975 and used the basic programming language developed by Bill Gates and Paul Allen. Altair 880 was a very popular computer, being the model that invented the term personal computer. In 1976, Apple appeared in the computer market with the Apple I, the first computer with a single circuit board and ROM, to which you had to add a keyboard, power supply, and a case. A year later, they launched Apple II, which was a great success. It was an 8-bit computer and came with a switching power supply, keyboard, case, manual, game paddles, and a box containing the breakout game. In 1981, IBM launched the first IBM PC, officially known as the IBM Model 5150. It was based on a 4.7 MHz's Intel 8088 microprocessor and used the Microsoft MS-DOS operating system. This was the computer that revolutionized the development of computers, being cloned on a large scale and thus generating the creation of many software and peripherals. Apple launched Apple Lisa in 1983, the first personal computer to have a graphical user interface. It had a drop-down menu and icons, a Motorola 6800 microprocessor, 1 MB of RAM, 12-inch black and white monitor, dual floppy disk drives, and a 5 MB hard drive. A year later, Apple introduced the Macintosh, the first successful computer mouse with a graphical user interface and based on the Motorola 6800 microprocessor. In 1984, Michael Dell created PCs Limited, where he developed the first self-designed computer called the Turbo PC, one of the leading computer developers. The 1990s were marked by an innovation introduced by Apple. Their new iMac, the 1998 G3, came with a clear customizable case. It was sold for $1,300 and included a 4 GB hard drive, 32 MB RAM, a CD-ROM, and a 15-inch monitor. In 2003, it launched the Apple G5, the most powerful Macintosh to date. The computer had an anodized aluminum case and was named the first true 64-bit personal computer. So in the 1990s, with the advent of internet, personal computers began to be widely used in all fields. Gradually, computers evolved drastically both in terms of design and performance. Thus, the market of computer components began to grow more and more, with users being able to create their own PC system according to their own needs. So, we have all the evidence that technology is not standing still, but constantly evolving from day to day.